Hello, it's me, intro to half. Um, yeah, I haven't been here uh, for quite some time, and we are in quarantine. As you probably know, it's like the number one topic, not only on the internet, but literally everywhere. And Germany's been in lockdown for about almost 3 weeks, I would say now, and um, I don't go to school. I get exercise from my teachers. I don't want to work. I'm doing home office, which is I'm working from home basically, and it's a difficult time for everyone. But the one positive thing about it is, at least I have some more time on my hands. So I've been reading way more lately because for the past few months I haven't really had time. It's work and school, and it just I'm sorry for this noise. I can't do anything about it. But yeah, so I wanted to do a reading vlog today. So it's Saturday. It's about 20 past 11. Yeah, as you can see. Yeah, and um, yeah. So now I'm gonna show you the book that I'm gonna read. Oh god. No. So I'm gonna be reading Find Me by Andre Aciman. I'm sorry. And that's the guy who wrote Call Me By Your Name. So this is like a sequel to Call Me By Your Name, but not really. And yeah, so it doesn't have such a good rating. It's like it's okay. It's not like 2-star rating, but I'm gonna show you. So the rating on this book on Goodreads is about 3 point something. Yeah, 3.35. So it's okay. No, it's not the best, but it's fine. And it's quite a short book. It's got like 260 pages. So I'm gonna be reading this weekend, and yeah, so I'm gonna do a little reading vlog, and I want to see because it doesn't have such a great rating, and I want to see where I stand, if I like this book or not. So yeah, so this is set few years after Call Me By Your Name. So the there's no yeah, so Elio, the guy who was played by Timothy Chalamet, I'm sorry, I'm butchering his name probably. He's now a world-known pianist. He's living in Paris, and I believe his father is is going to Paris to visit him, and he meets a woman with whom he falls in love. I'm not sure. And then Oliver, who was played by Armie Hammer, he obviously has a wife, he has kids, he has a very heteronormative life, and he's not happy with it. So that's kind of the premise of this book. Yeah, so I'm going with it for like a relatively quick read. To it's like nothing out of the ordinary, just like something for the weekend. And the weather's very nice, so it's like it's been very nice for the time that we've all been locked down. And yeah, I'm also been now about 2 weeks in lockdown home, and I'm kind of like going insane. So yeah, but as it's so early, it's not really early, but I'm gonna first make myself some breakfast, and then I'm gonna start reading. So, and for today, I definitely want to get to a certain point, and that point is yeah, it's here. So here, so it's about almost half of the book. It's page 117. So yeah, and I'm gonna take it with me. So I'm about 30 pages in, and it's fine, you know, it's only 30 pages, so nothing's really happened yet. So I use that Samuel, his name is Samuel. So he met this girl on the train, and they're talking. It's really nothing special. I feel there's gonna be romance between them. So she's like, so he is like twice her age, which he says, and I feel kind of weird about that fact, and that it's like love, kind of like I feel like there's gonna be romance between them because it's indicated that way, and I know how I feel about that. I mean, you know, if you're of age, you're allowed to do whatever, but it still feels kind of weird because, like he says, she's maybe only a few years older than his son, and it's just like, yeah, you know, just a little bit weird, but yeah. So really, the first 30 pages is just him on the train with this lady talking. Okay, yeah. So now I'm gonna be heading downstairs and getting in the garden, and I'm gonna read outside because it's really nice out. So I just got to the second part of the book because it's divided in like 3 parts. So I just got here, which was like my goal for today. I'm going to be reading it further today so that I can very quickly get through this. And oh my god, like, as far as it is, it's about 100 and almost 120 pages, and so far it's 1 star. Like, I hate it. I really hate it. I didn't think I would hate it going this. I just wanted to. I didn't think it would be like a 4 number before, but definitely not 5 star. Not that it's not gonna be definitely my favorite book. But I didn't know I would hate it so much, and I still got like over, yeah, like half of the book left. So I hope it will get better now. Yeah, so like my theory is that the first part that I just read is about, you know, Samuel the father and his love interest, and then I believe the second part is Elio, and then the third, the smallest part is Oliver, which I hope it's like that because I've just had enough of this love story between Samuel and Miranda. His name's Miranda. And honestly, looking as it's like how I can't even speak, looking at how it's going now, I'm definitely gonna do a review because I started taking notes. I started writing out pages with which I had huge problems with. And it's definitely gonna be a Rant review if it's going to be so bad all the way. Oh, I just can't. Okay, my battery is dying, so I'm gonna go back to reading. Hopefully it's gonna be a bit better than it was. Yeah. See you in the next update. This is the second time I have to film this part of this video because the last time I filmed it was over 1 hour long. But yeah, let's begin. I finished finally a couple of weeks ago. I don't know when. I was reading it, but it was in March. That's definitely. And now we almost have May. As probably you saw in my little clips, I did not enjoy this book. When I got into it, when I bought it, I wanted something lighthearted, something that I can pick up on the weekend and finish it on the weekend. That's it. But even though I didn't expect it to be like some kind of life-changing book, it definitely wasn't enjoyable. And that's the point of books, right? They need to be enjoyable. This wasn't. So let's break this down. This book is separated in 4 parts, and every part tells like kind of a different story, is from an S's perspective. And so the first part, which is the longest part, is like 120 pages. It tells the story of Elia's dad, Samuel. He's visiting his son in Rome. He's on a train. He's meeting this woman, and they basically fall in love. And you know, the 120 pages happens in like 2 days. Yeah, basically 2 days. Then the second part, which is like 100 pages, is a story about when Elio is finally living in Paris and he meets this guy at a church concert, and yet again they fall in love. Then the third part tells about Oliver, and it's hard to tell. It just tells his story. This happens in like a couple of hours. He's having a goodbye party because he's moving with his wife. And then the last part, spoilers, but I know why would you want to read this book. So the last part, the 4th part, is telling about Elio and Oliver when they again together. And that's basically it. And now I'm gonna tell you my feelings while I was reading the book. And I'm gonna tell this in parts, like what I felt toward a specific part. So the first part, I hated the first part the most. I just hated it. I can't even express my feelings, but I felt this kind of like disgusted, and I felt weirded out, and I felt uncomfortable, and I felt angry. I hate Samuel, just really, he was getting on my nerves, and I hated his love interest, I think the most, Miranda. I hated her. I never read a book with one of like the main characters that I truly despised, and this was the case in this book. That never happened to me before. I truly hated the first part the most. But let's come to the second part. I also didn't like the second part, but the second part was mostly boring, and that's all I can say about it. It just, I felt like nothing happened there. That's it. The third part, I was just plain confused for like 20 pages. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. because Oliver had like kind of a fantasy about being a threesome with this one guy and one woman. And keep in mind, he's married at the time, and also the girl that he wants to have this freeway with is also married, and the guy has a partner. No, we don't want cheating here. Let's not. No, no. But it was just plain confusing. So like, he wanted to have this threesome. So like, he like, I don't know if he was dreaming about it and only like fantasizing about it, or if he actually did it. I have no clue. It was just weird. Heh. Alright, and then the last part, it was like not even 10 pages. It was fine. It was the most fun part, which is also not saying a lot because I fucking hate this book. But the fourth part was fine, and I think most of it was fine because it was only 10 pages, so the author didn't really have that space to fuck anything up. And yeah, those are my feelings. And as you can see, I have tabs here, and this, as my last video that I filmed was over 1 hour ago. I don't want to go through every single page and every single quote I had a problem with, so I just picked few of my like favorites, or few of those who I had like a huge problem with. Yeah, so let's begin. Like, most of these are in the first part because it was also the longest part, and as I said, it made me angry. But nevertheless, let's just begin. So I started putting like tabs, or like taking notes to the pages and quotes from page 70, because until page 72 I still had kind of hope that it would get better. You know, it's only page 70 of 160, so I still had some hope, and I could go back and read until page 70 to see if I have problem with some quotes or some things that happen until that point, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to put myself through this, because I honestly waited time on the book. But let's begin. On page 72, there's this quote. Years ago, in a building not 3 blocks from here, I was reading Byzantine scholars lost in the world of pre-Islamic Constantinople. Yet the sperm of her past gonads that would become Miranda hadn't even been released. And so this is Samuel talking about his love interest Miranda. And you know, he's thinking about what I wrote into this. It's disgusting. Because like, he thinks about his love interest, right? And the thought that he has is basically, yeah, when I was already studying this, when I lived on my own and studying this very complicated texts, complicated literature, you know, her parents didn't even have sex yet. I don't think I have to say anymore. But let's move on to the next page. So obviously I have more things that I have problem with between those pages that I'm going to be talking about. But we don't have time. We don't have 10 hours to discuss this. So let's just pick a couple. And then there's this like one scene where Miranda and Samuel are together in a hotel lobby, and she has his face in her hands, and then unexpectedly she just grabs his crotch, basically, when he was getting hard in a public place. Excuse me, ma'am, you're in a hotel lobby. People just want to go to their rooms and go to sleep. Can you please not do this? You literally could go to the elevator and just go to your room and do that in your room, not in public. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, I just thought that was kind of like, disrespectful, nothing really big, but it was kind of like funny. I found this quote funny. And on page 90, and that's also like a funny thing, I just thought that was hilarious. And when there's nothing significantly wrote about this or anything, I just thought that it was hilarious. So basically, Miranda calls Samuel's dick a lighthouse, and if you're naming your own dick, or if you're naming parts of your partner or of yourself, just go you. I support you, but I never heard of anybody calling the part lighthouse. I just thought it was funny, and that's all. And yeah, and the last problem I have with this part, and now there's gonna be a trigger warning. So like I already put, I'm gonna put a trigger warning when I'm gonna be talking about this part, because I want to talk a little bit more about it. So this trigger warning about rape and non-consensual sex. So if you don't want to listen to it, or if it triggers you in any way, please skip to the minute that I will put in a little trigger warning. That's gonna be told by a fucking Moomin moment. Alright, so if you're here, then I hope you're all okay with talking about rape and unconsensual sex. And there's this scene on page 86 and page 87. Those are two huge pages. Okay, I will bring these pages to the screen so you can pause and you can read it for yourself. If you can see anything. No, you can't. There you go. Alright, so if you wanted to read this, then you had the opportunity. And so, but if you didn't read this, this scene basically is a monologue by Miranda. He's telling this to Samuel, and she's telling him how the whole promise was that she was telling him, like, I'm different, like I'm so weird and quirky and all that stuff. And then she says that once when his older brother had a friend come over, she would join them in his room watching TV. She was sitting between his brother and her brother and her brother's friend. And the friend put an arm around her, and then he started to touching her, I think, like middle, and then he started to like touching her breast, and also her brother started doing that, like he was touching her breast, like, and laughing about it. And then she's saying that her brother's friend exposed himself, like he basically put his dick out, and her brother did the same, and then she asked him to lie next to her, so they did. I think they lied on bed or something, the three of them, and then she's saying how her brother's friend, the friend, I'm gonna call him the friend, and the friend pulled her jeans down, and that she didn't say anything about that, and that he then basically had sex with her while she was just lying there. And then the friend and also Miranda wanted her brother to have sex with her, basically, and then he said that he didn't want to because that's his sister, and she's saying how she was like kind of like disappointed in him, and that now her brother doesn't want to be in the same room alone with her, or he doesn't want to sit next to her, and she's saying that he probably never will forgive her, but at the end she says that but this is her that will never forgive him, because basically he didn't want to have sex with his sister. And so that's the whole scene. And my problem is that I feel that is normalizing unconsensual sex and also rape, because like rape doesn't have to be violent, you know, and I feel like consensual sex is only when two or more parties explicitly say, yes, I want this, keep doing, or something like that, that they express themselves in words. They would say, go on, or yes, I want this, or something like that. And in that case, it didn't happen. So she didn't say anything, and then he still had like sex with her. And my problem with this scene is not that it talks about basically rape, but that it kind of like normalizes it. That's how I feel. If you feel different, then okay, let me know why you feel that way, because well, it's nice to see someone else's point of view. But for me, I really think that it's normalizing rape, because this thing like happen, like a lot of people lose their like virginity just because someone is keeping like on touching them or wants to go further, but they too scared to say anything, so they just don't do anything. They don't like actually participate, or they don't not giving their consent. They just scared not to give the consent, so they just don't say anything. And this happens. A lot of people go through this, and a lot of people have trauma because of it. A lot of people have difficulty in their adult life, or further in life, when something like that happens. And she basically states that she's just so quirky, just so like not other girls, because she had basically unconsensual sex with her brother's friend, and then wanted to have sex with her own brother, but he didn't want this, and now she is angry at him because he didn't want to have sex with her. Yeah, I'm disgusted by this. Basically, what kind of Donut Tart bullshit is this? And don't get me wrong, I love Donut Tart. I love The Secret History. That's my favorite book, one of my favorites. But like, like I think like with the secret history, like you know the thing between Charles and Camilla is that the whole book is basically questioning people's morality or human morality, and that is just like, oh look at me, I'm just so different because I want to have sex with my brother. Like no, don't do that. No. Okay, so now we'll pass the like really serious stuff. So now we're gonna talk about not so serious. And as you saw in the first part, clearly Samuel and Miranda have a huge age difference, and she's basically not a lot older than Elio, which is Samuel's son. And then Elio is meeting this guy, and then again on page 131 there's this. So that's the guy saying, I forgot what was his name, and you know that I'm almost twice your age. So again, a huge age difference. I mean, if you're both legal enough to give consent, there's nothing wrong with it. But it's kind of weird, you know, when you have just. I just find it weird when there's such a huge age gap. And then let's move to the next page. It's still on in the second part. It's page 143, and now they are saying, you remind me of my son, he finally said. Do you look alike? No, but you're the same age. Yikes. Yeah. So he has a son the same age that's his partner's is. I don't know. But yeah, kind of weird, and also kind of weird comparing your own child to your sexual partner. I just find that weird. If it's not weird for you, then you know, great. But I think that could be really like problematic. I don't know. Now on page 163, it's still the second part. But let's see. So those are like two quotes that I'm gonna split. Now. He and Miranda had promised to bring along the boy this time. It was time I saw my younger brother again. So this is Elliot saying that basically his father, Samuel, and Miranda had a child together now. And my problem is with this is that these kids could not really experience a lot from their fathers, because their fathers they're old, alright? They're old. They could die anytime. It's true though. Don't come at me. And then it's the same sentence. Is the same sentence. So okay, that's the quote. And if Michael were still a presence in my life, Miranda and I would simply sit back and watch both men figure out who was the younger of the two. I don't think that's a great idea to present your partner to your father. No, have them just have the two of them just sit and figure out if they which one is the young one, which one is the older one. That feels kind of weird. Okay. And yeah, and then we move on to part 3. And now I just want to say my point. That's basically my point in a nutshell regarding the last sentence as I wrote that I said, and it is I had once wanted to tell her about my old friends in the house by the sea and of my room there, and about the lady of the house who years ago was like a mother to me but now has dementia and hardly remembered her own name, and about her husband who, before dying, lives in the same house with another woman who still lives there with a 7-year-old I'm dying to meet. So that's basically like Oliver's inner monologue. And my point stands here. This child is 7 years old and his father is dead. And you know, parents can die at any time. That can happen to all of us. I can just like walk out with my dog and then I can just fucking die. But I don't think it was an accident. I just think it was his old age. I'm not gonna say anything more about it. Now let's move to the last part. And I have one quote. That's gonna be the last quote that I'm gonna be talking about. And this quote is, so basically Olivia and Ariel are living together, the little boy, the 7-year-old that we were talking about, is named Oliver after the Oliver. Kind of weird, but okay. So even Oliver was moved and had to catch his breath. The child was our child. The two of us knew it, and my father, who no longer was alive, knew it as well, had known all along. So Ellie is basically saying that basically his father's child, his little brother, is actually his and Oliver's child, not the child of his father and Miranda. And I just, even though I hate Miranda, I kind of find it disrespectful to her. I don't think she would agree. I think she would say, no, bitch, that's my child. You are his brother, and that's it. Yeah, in conclusion, I feel like I'm giving a presentation in my school again. It's like in conclusion, I haven't done it in such a long time. But anyway, in conclusion, I fucking hate this book, and it's not worth paying your damn money or spending your precious time. And I am surprised that it has actually such a big rating on Goodreads. It's like 3 point something. I gave it 1 star and it doesn't even deserve that much. If everything is already fine and you can function again like normal people, like we did before this thing happened, just if you're really dying to know what happened after calling by your name, then you should go to library. If it's not in the library, go to the bookstore, pick this up, and stand there for like 10 minutes and literally read only the last part. And I'm even gonna tell you what it's called. The last part is called Da Capo. And it's on page, it starts on page 249. And just read the last pages. Because everything else is just plain up rubbish. And I don't want to burn it only because I paid money for that. And I'm probably gonna be donating this to my library, or I'm gonna selling it. Once this apocalypse is over. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.